Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Recorded by Richter, back with a brand new segment for you. This time I am in the world of film, as I have a review for the movie One Battle After Another by Paul Thomas Anderson. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Benicio del Toro, Tiana Taylor, Regina Hall, Sean Penn, and newcomer Chase Infinity. And before I get into that, I would like to say that I have a piece out right now highlighting, I should say, my friend E-Man Bates and all the work that he's currently doing. And before I get into this, I have to say rest in peace to one of the greatest musicians that ever lived that we lost just a couple days ago, and that's D'Angelo. Today I was actually thinking about doing my tribute piece on D'Angelo, but I wanted to be able to take my time on it and not just rush it out because it's being talked about right now. I don't think that that's right to do, and I think that he deserves way more of my research and respect. I know a lot about D'Angelo, but I want to make sure I get all the details right and the things that I'm going to talk about and how influential his 3 albums were in his career. It's very strange to me, the timing of his passing, because in my last video I just announced that I was about to do a piece on revolutionary music highlighting Black Messiah by D'Angelo, because I think it's like one of the last real visionary, revolutionary pieces of music we've gotten in a while out of the world of music. So I'm going to be setting my sights on that, but I didn't want to rush it out. So today I'm going to do my review on Paul Thomas Anderson's movie One Battle After Another. I saw this a few weeks ago and I've been wanting to get to this piece. I've had plenty of time to think about it and stew it over, so let's get into it. If you're unfamiliar with Paul Thomas Anderson is a 55-year-old director from Los Angeles, California. He has a very interesting body of work. He is not he is a heralded director. If you're an actor and Paul Thomas Anderson calls, you're doing it. I think Benicio del Toro joked that he didn't even read the script when Paul Thomas Anderson said it. He just said yes. And that's the kind of director that he is. He's one of the heavy hitters. And this adds to the lexicon of directors now that Leonardo DiCaprio has worked with. I mean, he's worked with every great now, and he continues to make great choices in his career in the films that he takes. Anyhow, Paul Thomas Anderson, if you're unfamiliar with him, the first movie he ever directed was Hard 8 in '96, which didn't get a ton of attention, but his follow-up, Boogie Nights in 1997, got tons of attention and kind of launched his career and allowed him to kind of make movies in this strange direction that he wanted to go in. You have Magnolia and Punch Drunk Love and There Will Be Blood, The Master, Inherent Vice, Licorice Pizza, Phantom Thread, all these crazy movies that are definitely are the type of movies that you get done where you kind of stare at the screen for a minute like, huh. That's definitely the way that I felt watching Magnolia, I remember, for the first time. He's worked with all the greats: Daniel Day-Lewis, Philip Seymour Hoffman, John C. Reilly, Joaquin Phoenix, and now you're adding to all the people that I just spoke about in this new film, One Battle After Another. And so I want to get into One Battle After Another. Before I read down the plot, I want to mention the characters and the main people in it. Leonardo DiCaprio is Bob Ferguson. He plays a ex-revolutionary group leader and who is now down the road and fallen into fatherhood and is confronted by his past. That's kind of the gist of it. Sean Penn plays Colonel Stephen J. Lockjaw, who is the antagonist of the movie. Leonardo DiCaprio and his daughter, who was played by Chase Infinity, Willa. And then you had Tiana Taylor, who played Perdifa Beverly Hills, who was the love interest of Leonardo DiCaprio in his youth when he was running around in this revolutionary group, the French 75. And they were, trying to bring down corrupt government. And so they were doing stuff with government buildings and banks and different stuff like that, messing with stock markets, and they staged all these different kind of disruptive events as part of their youth and caused quite a bit of legal trouble for themselves. Like I mentioned, Chase Infinity plays the daughter of Leonardo DiCaprio and Tiana Taylor. Benicio del Toro is Sergio Carlos, and then Regina Hall plays Deandra, who these are both two friends of Tiana Taylor and Leonardo DiCaprio who kind of have helped them along the way, part of the French 75. And basically the gist of it, like I was kind of explaining, is that Tiana Taylor and Leonardo DiCaprio were in the French 75, started this revolutionary group. They got pregnant and tried to settle down and have a family, but Tiana Taylor couldn't settle for that. She wanted to keep going and keep pushing, while Leonardo DiCaprio recognized that they had a new responsibility, and that was Willa, their daughter. And so the movie is set 16 years later after they kind of part ways, and it is very reminiscent in a sense to The Big Lebowski, in the sense that Leonardo DiCaprio's character once was this, you know, revolutionary guy who's now kind of like a half-baked, you know, paranoid dad who's, you know, half drunk all the time and trying to figure out life as a father, and it makes sense of everything in his past. And they're confronted by their past, which was Sean Penn's character, who was this sergeant that they had, you know, come across in their past. And there's a thing going on with Sean Penn, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Tiana Taylor. I'm not going to ruin it because I want people to be able to go see it, but there is a triangle there that leads them to this standstill 16 years later, which is forces Leonardo DiCaprio to go on the run, and using the help of his friends played by Regina Hall and Benicio del Toro. And he's got to not only evade police and all of this, but he's got to now try to rescue his daughter who's been taken. And it has just got some of the greatest action sequences. It's kind of, for lack of a better word, trumped up version of where we're at now. It kind of takes place like as if we're, you know, where the country's headed now is now set in stone. You have these white nationalist groups popping up, the Christmas Adventure Club, which is kind of like the secret society type of thing with the rich elite. And that's kind of what Sean Penn's character is trying to chase after and get into. His wanting to be involved in this club is why he's chasing after DiCaprio's daughter in the first place. They just do a great job. Well, first of all, Benicio del Toro is amazing as DiCaprio's friend, as Bob Ferguson's friend trying to help him escape. He's this cool, calm, collected, hilarious character, kind of reminiscent to the character he played in The Phoenician Scheme in Wes Anderson's movie. It kind of almost felt like a continuation of that a little bit. And then, you know, you had Sean Penn playing just the biggest piece of garbage, and he really nailed it. He did a great job as the antagonist character. Tiana Taylor, I love her as an artist all around. She was so good in this role. I almost wish there was more of her in it. You know, she's not in a ton of it, but she's impactful in what she's in. And Regina Hall, she's goated. She's one of the greatest of all time. I'm so glad to see her getting more serious roles like this and just being awesome and excelling in everything she does. And then I think Chase Infinity is going to have a hell of a career. I think she's going to do wonderful things. The only thing I had seen her in before this was there was this show on Apple TV, I think it was called like Proven Innocent or something like that. Or let me see if I can find it. It was with Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah, Presumed Innocent, with Jake Gyllenhaal playing her dad. So that was the only thing I'd recognized her in prior to seeing this movie, One Battle After Another. But this makes me happy because, you know, this movie had a huge budget, bigger than Paul Thomas Anderson's ever gotten in his career. I think it was like $175 million. So it's still on its way to trying to make its money back, but that doesn't matter because it's already on its way to $200 million internationally. And for Paul Thomas Anderson, that's the biggest, he's already hit his biggest earning movie of all time. Granted, it had a bigger budget than anything else he's ever done, but like for this movie with original writing in it, and for it to be filmed the way it was filmed, it was just really something special. You know, you're starting to see, and I keep talking about this on there, directors that are making a stand to trying to get people back in the theaters and doing things in a sense that you are going to miss out if you don't see it in the theaters. I think there's this aside from Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead's score of this film, he did the score, which is not surprising because he's worked with Paul Thomas Anderson before. And aside from that, there is some scenes that you just wouldn't like. There's a car chase scene at the end that is just like so cinematic and so awesome. I just can't say enough good things about the way that it was filmed and the acting performances. It's got some weird parts. It definitely has Paul Thomas Anderson-esque stuff all over the film, but I think for the most part, if you can stomach the first 20 minutes, you're in for a real treat after that, because he does put you in uncomfortable scenarios in the beginning of the movie. But if you just stick it out and make it through that, I mean, the movie, it's almost 3 hours and it felt like it went by like that to me. Like I was not bored at all. I was on the edge of my seat for most of the movie. I thought it was hilarious at the same time. I love when there's a good balance of comedy, action, drama, all of that psychological weird stuff going on too. I mean, all of that is just great to me. I'm trying to see if I missed anything about this. Oh yeah, one of the things I wanted to say about the way it was filmed is it was shot using VistaVision, making it one of the first films alongside The Brutalist to use this format principle photography since the 1960s. So I like when directors call your attention to different styles of filmmaking. Coogler has been doing that, Ari Aster. There's been a lot of great films this year. I think 2025 has been incredible for that. That's one thing I always mention on here is that, when the world seems to be going through the most turbulent times, we get the most inspired art, and I feel like that's really been true in the world of film and music this year. So I can't say enough good things about it. I don't want to keep you guys here for much longer, so I will say go check out this movie. It was fantastic. It should still be in theaters, and I highly suggest seeing it in theaters if you can. With that, I'm going to get my butt to doing some research on D'Angelo and make sure I put together a really good piece for you guys. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.